Heidi ho! Just checking in again to see how everybody's doing. Sewing some more beads on. Decided to do a pink one this time. It's quite cute. So, anyway, today, what I've noticed in the theme that's been prevalent in my mind and in things I'm hearing in conversation, whatever, but I think the biggest thing of what I'm seeing right now is things are not what they appear, guys. And we have to remember that everything that you hear is going to be based through somebody's filter, okay? And some of those filters are valid, and some of those aren't. And when I say that, I'm saying that some of them aren't even actually people that you're hearing things through. Some things are just sound bites and edits and, what will create the most drama so that the darker energies can be fed because they're hungry, because they're losing. And because they're losing, they have to attach themselves to people, and they have to create chaos, and they have to try to stir up emotion, which is what they feed off of. And what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about people. I'm not talking about, any one side of anything. I'm talking about energetic beings, okay? And they're angry, and they're feeding that anger into society because they're losing, because we're finding our commonality, And I know a lot of people, it's not looking that way to you, but maybe you need to change your circle if that's not what you're seeing. Because there are a lot of people out there who have already found that inner peace, and they found that way of coping with the things that ugly that they're seeing in the world without projecting that ugly on other people, And I think that's the key here, is the only way we get rid of this darkness, this evil in the world, is by starving it out. And the only way we can starve it out is through love, because it can't feed off of that. Okay? And these have different names depending on what your belief system is, obviously. But they're all the same entities. They're all the same force, I guess, if you will. And again, they're there to help us to find our best selves. So I just want to, remind you, and myself, remind us all to take everything we hear or what we're seeing with a thought of your response. How am I going to respond to this? Am I going to be, if I see this, will it put me in my best self? Or if I see this, will it put me in my best, not best self? And then decide if that's something you want to engage in, Because when it all comes down to it, in the end, only you are responsible for what you're putting out into the world. Only you can decide where you're going to put your focus, or what you're going to address with your words or with your feelings. Yeah. And all we have to do for that is just look at ourselves. I mean, I can look back in my life many times where I was not my best self, and I wish I would have done things differently or said things differently, or, maybe appreciated things more, or, there's all kinds of different things that you can go through in your own memory bank and think of all the times that, if somebody had taken a snapshot of me back then and that's who they think I am now, they wouldn't have any idea. It would not be the same, because everybody does work. And again, everyone's going to repeat what they've heard or what they've seen, or, whatever their snapshot of that moment is, will be what they will base you off of, unless they've done their own work and they understand that we all grow, So I just wanted to put that out there for you to, take stock of how you're feeling in the moment. Sit with that, really sit with it and think, have I before in my past ever said things that I regret now. Of course you do. Everybody does. We all do. But the key is to learn from it. You know, we can't change the past, but we can change our perception of it. We can change the ripples that we send out into the universe based on that. We can change our DNA through finding forgiveness for ourselves, one, and for anyone we think may have slighted us in the past, or somebody who might have done something that wasn't, their best moment. There's always a reason people do things. There's always pain behind it. But you have to remember, we're all learning, we're all growing every single day. What we're learning and what we're growing will depend on where we're at inside, how we're feeling on any given day. We have days where we do better than others. There's going to be times when you're going to cuss at whoever's in front of you driving terribly. And then there's other days when you're just like, oh, they must be having a rough day, and you just smile. You don't care. So, yeah, just rambling. Because that's what I like to do. I like to ramble and just think. That's probably my biggest thing, is I probably overthink, as my teenager likes to say. But I'd rather overthink than underthink, which is, I think, a lot of people do. They don't think at all. They just react. So, yeah, let's just try and be kind. Be your best version of yourself. Look at all the stuff that you want to look at. If anything, this could be a moment of change where people start to see how things are. Don't go by little sound bites. There's always more to what's behind what is being shown. And a lot of this is all just for, reasons that don't really relate to how you're going to live your life, So, that's what I just wanted to say. And I hope everybody is doing well. Really enjoying making these little guys. So this is my pink guy. I'll show you my my other ones. I've added beads to. This was the first one, and I think this one's sold already. And then I did this one, which I think has turned out pretty cool. It's different little matte beads. And then this one with the blue, and this is crocheted. I wanted to try put some crochet on there. And then this one I think is probably my favorite so far. And then also, this is the pin on the back, so it's just a simple pin to pop it on your clothes. But yeah, they're cute little things, aren't they? So yes, these are for sale. I've had a couple people ask me. So just get a hold of me if you are interested. And I'm going to keep making them. I'm going to make other things too, not just the sacred hearts, but right now this is where my heart is, so no pun intended. Or maybe I was a pun intended, I don't know. But anyway, and this is the little pink guy. So, yeah. I hope you guys are doing good, and talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.